Hello, Nina, Mrs.
Hi.
Mrs. Topcat. Delighted to be chatting with you. Myself and Steve Evans here.
Yeah, hi Topcat. Yeah.
Hi Steve. Hi Terry. You both okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks. How's life with you in Liverpool?
Yeah, no, life is really good. Really busy. As well as my day job and a mum of three. You know, writing, reading it tries to take up some of my time too. So when I'm not reading and writing, I'm being a mom and I'm working in Liverpool as well. So it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you say you live in Liverpool and work in Liverpool?
I now work. I work in Liverpool, but I live in Wirral now. Moved from Liverpool.
Ah,
yes.
Makes sense because I saw one or two of your tweets referencing a Port Sunlight run.
Yes.
So roughly whereabouts are you in the world? Can you mention that or not?
Yeah, no, I live in Bromborough, so not far from Port Sunlight.
Oh my word! Yeah,
yes.
I've just moved from Bromborough.
Oh, really?
Lived in Bromborough for the last how many years? 30 years. So yeah.
Oh, crazy! Yeah, no, I like Wirral. It's great, but I do miss Liverpool a lot, actually. But yeah, it's you know, the kids are at school here, and so we're by the station, so we get to Liverpool as much as we can.
Yeah, you're not around by Acre Lane, were you?
Not far.
Right.
Not far from Acre Lane. I know.
Small world. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you've recently released your first novel, The Fall Before Love. Can you tell us about that? When did you start writing it? Was this a quick write? Did it take you years?
No. It was in my head for years. And I kept thinking, I've got this idea for a book, and you know, but 3 children and busy with work, and so just kind of had it in my head. And then I said to my husband last summer, so it's probably about a year ago now, I said, I've got to write this book because it's driving me mad, because I'm just thinking about it all the time. And I kept a pen and pad by my bed, and I kept writing things like in the middle of the night, thinking, oh, I must add that, and that'd be good. And then I'd be brainstorming. I just thought, what am I doing? I'm going crazy. So I think it was last September. I thought I'll just sort of put an outline, you know, brainstorm a few ideas. When I say put pen to paper, I really open my laptop, and then just started from there. And would have to obviously write when the kids went to bed, so it was like an evening thing only, and then just couldn't stop writing and finished in February. So it was a lot quicker than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to take me a good few years, but I found it actually it was quite easy, because I think because I'd had the idea for so long and for a good couple of years, I pretty much knew the flow and, you know, the storyline and the plot, and I knew exactly how the characters were going to be in my head. I knew, you know, it's a romance novel, so obviously the 2 main characters, male and female, and I just knew the guy, like the sort of guy he was going to be, and I definitely knew how Alexa, the main character, who she was going to be in my head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why did you go? Any particular reason you went down the romance route, the romance genre? Was it just what felt comfortable with you?
I am a bit of a romance, you know, I'm a romance at heart, you know. I like that fairy tale sort of, you know, notion. I quite like all that. So, and I do read a lot. I still read a lot now, to be honest. If I'm, as I say, in the evenings, if I'm not writing, I'm reading. And I have read other genres, and I've really enjoyed them. You know, I've read like thrillers and horrors and things like that. But I always just come back to a good romance novel. I think we've been so busy, and you know, life's a bit crazy and chaotic. I just need that love story at the end of the day. It makes me happy. I definitely need a happy ever after. Has to have a happy ending. I've read a few romance novels where it's just been tragic, and I've literally not slept for 3 nights because it's just been so stressful. So it was always going to be a romance novel for me, because that is where my heart lies. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
You mentioned the main characters, Callum and Alexa. How much of you and your husband is in those two characters? Was it purely all 100% fiction?
No, yeah, it is. It probably is 100% fiction. Alexa is probably the girl that I think I would like to have been if I'd have been born and bred in Liverpool, because she's very Scouse, she's very sassy, she's very witty, because she lives in London, you see. She's a paediatric nurse living in London.
She worked at Alder Hay, didn't she, as well, I think, at the beginning of the book?
Yes, yeah. And I always knew she was going to be a nurse because my sister's a nurse, and my sister just tells me the most, honestly, just the most awful stories, the most funny stories, the most gruesome stories. A lot of stories I actually don't want to hear, but she tells me anyway. So I knew I wanted that aspect of it, that sort of medical background. Chose a paediatric nurse in the end. But I would say, yeah, I think because I've been in Liverpool now for 16 years and I've just met some amazing characters, and that's why I love Liverpool, love Merseyside, I love the people, I love the culture, but I love the humour, and I just knew that I wanted her to be that person that everyone laughed at but laughed with, and I wanted it to be really unique. So I think, yeah, she's probably the girl that I think I'd like to have been if I'd have been a born and bred Scouser. But Joe, the guy that she, there's a bit of on and off relationship with him. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's like my husband at all, because he's very arrogant, he's very cocky. He's not very nice to her, really. 70% of the book, I would say. And my husband's lovely, so he's a really good guy. And I think if I ever told him, because he was the first person to read the book, I think if I ever told him that he had Joe qualities, he'd probably be really offended.
Okay, is he a tomcat then?
I can tell you something right now. This is playing havoc with my smart device behind me, because she is Alexa, and every time you say Alexa and Terry says Alexa, she's responding in the background. I'm having to shut her up.
Sorry. Yeah, it's not the best name. That comes up in the book, actually, how much she hates her name because of the whole technology advancement since she's been called it. So yeah.
Excellent. So would you say who was your biggest motivation to get these words on paper? Would it be your sister then, with you saying about your sister being a nurse?
Yeah, because I definitely I always sort of ran the plot through with my husband, but he reads, but he would never read a romance novel. And he really I had to really sort of bribe him to read to read my book. So but he did, which was really good. But yeah, I used to, sometimes when me and my sister would have a few glasses of wines, I'd say to her, she'd say, "Oh, are you getting on with your book? And and have you got it down on paper and a few ideas?" And it just really evolved really through those conversations, because obviously I've written the book anonymously, so they're the only two people in my circle of friends and family that know that I've written this book. So it was really good to have her there for lots of sort of that medical information. So there was no medical inaccuracies with Alexa's job as a paediatric nurse. So that was good. But probably my husband was probably the biggest motivator, I would say, because as I say, life's so busy and there isn't really that many pockets of time to write a book. My children are between 2 and 8 years old, so they're still quite young. So really it is that sort of 7:30 in the evening where I would just be able to go, right, okay, can sit down and start writing some words. And sometimes I would just say, "Oh, I'm not going to do it tonight." And it's just I've had a busy day in work, kids have been at clubs and picking up school and things like that, and he would say, "No, come on, write your book. You wrote like 4,000 words last night, keep going." So he really did. He was great, because he did a lot of the sorting the children out and getting ready for the next day. So he definitely is my biggest motivator. But again, my sister was great. Yeah, she was really good. And I like I say, I always wanted Alexa to be a nurse, and I sort of, I wanted to try and get it in the book as well, that how hard they work, and what the job's really like, and it's not glamorous, and they do such an amazing job. So I wanted that to get across as well, and my sister definitely helped me with that aspect of it.
Okay. You mentioned word count, 4,000 words one night. There's a hefty word count in the book. It's 392 pages. Did you ever think of maybe splitting it in half, 1 and 2?
Well, to be honest, I just felt like I couldn't stop writing it sometimes. And when I finished, it was like, I think it was about nearly 90,000 words, which they say is quite long for your first book.
70, 80,000 usually.
Yeah. So, but it just kind of flowed, and there was nothing really that I wanted to take out. There was nothing that I wanted to sort of like be, I just needed it. I needed it to be that flow that I'd put down on paper. And I divided it up into chapters because it's from a dual point of view. So there'd be Jo's perspective, then hers, and it just kind of felt right that it was that length. But yeah, it definitely was longer than what I initially planned it to be. I thought it was going to be around 70,000, but when I got to 70,000, I thought, I'm definitely not I'm not done here. There's a few more parts of the story I need to get in. So it is quite long, but I think they say between sort of 70 and 100,000, so I was quite happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah. So who did the cover and the edits the cover for the book?
Yeah, she's a really sort of up and coming artist. She's Holly's Bookstore, she's called. She's based in Germany. And I just saw some of her work online, and it was some of the other books, sort of the similar genre, that sort of romance novel, contemporary. And I just really, really was impressed with some of the work that she'd done for some of the other authors. So it was a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest. And when we sort of came up with some ideas, I really liked, some of the examples that she sent over. So yeah, just so went with Holly. Holly's Bookstore, she's called. Really, really amazing. Great to work with as well. Really fast, really good ideas. Really good communication, so I definitely work with her again.
Right. Was she? You say she's from Germany. Is she German or British?
Yes.
She's living in Germany.
Yeah, she's based in Germany. Yeah, and obviously because it's all sort of online, it was great. So she's done it worldwide for lots of other authors as well. So she's really good. I was really happy. Yeah.
Nina, have you gone indie with this novel?
Yes.
Yourself, yeah. Did you go through the pain? I'm going to swear, the pain in the arse of trying to connect with a publisher?
No, do you know what? I haven't gone down that route, and I did do a lot of research on it, and spoke to a lot of other authors about it, and I just thought, it's a sideline. It's a bit of a hobby. It was a bit of a, because it was a few years in the making. Yeah. I'm just quite happy at the moment that it's done, that it's people can buy it. They can buy a hard copy, they can read it on Kindle Unlimited, because it's on Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, not yet, but never say never. I just know that, I don't know if you've ever seen sort of people on Twitter that are trying to go through that traditional publisher route. I think it can be quite painful, as you say, and it can be it'd be quite hard, I think, for people, because you put your heart and soul into it, and you spend a lot of time on it, and it's your baby. And like it's anything, it's like TV programs, films, books. Some people like certain things, and some people don't. And I think it can, when you've spent a lot of time on a piece of work, some people can get quite disheartened by that rejection and things. So I haven't gone down that route at the moment. I'm quite happy with how it's going. So yeah, but never say never. Yeah.
So this book's been out a couple of months now. Is this a standalone one, or is there a follow-on series? And have you started writing that follow-on, or are you going on a different route?
I think it's a standalone. I did think about doing one of her siblings, because she talks a lot about her. She's the youngest of 5. and they're all based in Liverpool. And I did think about maybe doing one of her sisters as the next book, but I have started writing a second book, and I just felt about doing something different. So I haven't done it as a series, but maybe in the future. Yeah.
And just going back to being an indie publisher, sometimes it pays for an indie person to get their book out there, to sort of build a CV up to attract a traditional publisher.
Yes.
You know, you get decent sales, you get a decent following, you build up a bit of a brand as well. And then, you know, you become more attractive to a traditional publisher, knowing that you got some kind of background of some success.
Yeah, you know, you're not the first person to mention that, actually. So it's definitely something to think about. But yeah, just not at the moment. I'll just keep going as I am, I think. And then, but yeah, no, so another author has actually recommended that to me and just said it's something to think about. So maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got another book in the pipeline, or you started writing one then?
Yes, so book 2, I started around April time. It felt like a different journey, this one, because it was like a new, fresh idea, and it was like, right, okay, that first book went well, so writing it went well, so let's you know, get some ideas down, but I found it a lot harder this time. I felt like that book was in me and I needed to get it out. I just needed to get it out of my system, whereas this time I've had to do a lot more background and research and thinking, and I've changed the plot and what happens about 50 times already, and then I've gone back to change certain things that have happened in their past. So it's going a lot slower, this one, but I think I've learned a lot from the first one, so I'm hoping it'll be just as good a story. It's just going to take me a little bit longer to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you look at it, the story is told through the two characters' point of view. Did you experiment with that? Did you ever go with starting writing third person?
No, I didn't, for the reason that it's just my favorite style to read myself. And I do read, you know, that sort of different point of view, or third person and everything, but I just really like that dual point of view, because I like that they have the same situations but they can view it differently. And I really liked that, you know, the way that Alexa might view something that happens in the book. His take on it is completely different, and they're talking about exactly the same thing, and their feelings are different, how they approach it's different, and then the way they move on from that is different, because their different points of view are just completely at opposite ends. So it was really just it was just something that I preferred myself as a reader.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have seen a lot of talk about that on Twitter, actually. I've seen a few polls where people they've toyed with, you know, the different styles, and they've asked for people's opinions, and it's really interesting, actually, how people say can't read dual point of view, or it drives me mad, or, you know, or third person or anything like that. So it is I think it's just a, you know, personal preference, but for me, I just went with that dual point of view.
Yeah. So you've got a busy lifestyle. You've got 3 kids.
Yes.
And I can imagine how busy it is, especially with them being under 8. So do you have a special time for writing? I think you've mentioned evenings. Do you have a special place in your house, a library, or whatever?
You know, I'm really lucky. My husband built a shepherd's hut in the garden, and it's quite big, actually. It's really, really nice. I'm in it at the moment, and it's got a telly in here, it's got Wi-Fi, it's got you know, I can make myself a cup of tea, it's got a microwave, it's got a little day bed, and it's got a desk in it. So I think he built it for himself, if I'm being honest, and then I just took it over.
A man cave.
I think it was going to be a man cave. Yeah, Terry, I think that's right. Because he's a teacher, so he was like, oh, it'd be nice to do some, you know, if I have to do some marking and things like that. And then I just took it over and made it really girly, and the kids just have trashed it in the day and stuff. So I think that plan sort of backfired for him, bless him. As I say, he is great. He's very supportive. So I've taken over his man cave, and it's a girl cave. Yeah.
Well, that's worked out well for you, hasn't it? So yeah, what comes around and all that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. Very lucky. It's very quiet down here as well. So it's nice to just get away from, because our house, as you can imagine, is very noisy. And there's lots of arguments, so there's lots of squabbling and fighting over toys, and so you can't hear anything. You can't hear anything at the bottom of the garden. It's lovely. So I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Nina, can I ask you about social media? I know we've connected on Twitter. Is that your main platform for promoting your work, or do you use Facebook, TikTok?
Well, yeah, I've got an Instagram account now, and I have done one video on TikTok, but it's really difficult for me because I'm not a social media guru. It's not really it's never really been my thing, and I think that's mainly because I am so busy. You know, I work full time as well as having 3 children, so it's just something I've never really got into. But obviously when I wrote the book, I thought, well, it's got to be something I've got to start and have a profile at least, especially because, you know, it's under a pen name. So it's a new world for me, Twitter. It really is, but actually I found it really interesting. I found people actually quite supportive. I know that people say that there's this sort of dark side, and, you know, it can be quite negative, but actually maybe it's that writing community that I'm sort of really mainly involved with. But I found it really useful, really interesting. You know, some of the topics that people talk about, I found it useful for me writing my second book. So yeah, so the Twitter social media side of things is something that I'm trying to get better at. I didn't even know how to send a tweet 3 months ago. I mean, it's terrible.
You pick it up, don't you? Everyone's the same when they start with it, but you know, after a few months, you will become more expert at it.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite impressed. You know, I managed to give myself a profile picture, and I was tweeting with a photo, an image. You know, so I'm getting there, and I'm hashtagging, and I'm linking people in. So I'm getting there. You know, it's just going to be a bit of a learning curve, I think. So, but yeah, I found it very, very useful, I have to say. I know some people aren't as keen on it, but for me, it's been really good.
Okay.
Well, if it works for you, that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But it must be difficult, I suppose, because you're writing under a pen name. So
it's difficult.
I find that really weird, trying to promote myself on a different name, if you like. So
yeah, I think that maybe that's half of it as well, because
yeah.
You know, it's not like I can, you know, link my friends and family, and it's just starting from scratch. So
difficult one. Yeah,
it is difficult. Yeah.
Nina, can I ask you about the anonymity? Is that because the novels are like with adult themes? Is that why using the pen name and the cat avatar? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I just there are some scenes that can be a little bit steamy. So I just felt
more comfortable as this.
Yeah, I just felt more comfortable, and I just thought, I think it's just something I'll do under a pen name. I've got young children, and my mum's Catholic.
I've been there. Yeah.
And I just thought, I don't know if they really appreciate the spicy scenes. So, but to be honest, that makes it sound terrible. They're not at all. It's just something that I didn't feel comfortable with. sharing.
Hey, that's fair enough. If you don't feel comfortable, it's your choice at the end of the day, nobody else's. That's it. Yeah,
yeah.
Fine.
And I didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize my children in a bad way either. So I'll just keep going with my pen name, and see how it goes. Yeah.
Well, it's great that you've got the confidence to come on here anyway and sort of chat to us and chat about the novel.
Yeah, well, I really do love chatting to people. I really do. I love meeting new people. I love talking. In fact, I talk too much. My husband will fucking be the first person to tell you that. So, I don't want to turn down opportunities if I can get around it. I'll try and sort of go around it if I can, but I'm not expecting it to be easy. Yeah, I don't know if I can be a cat for the rest of my author life.
Right. Speaking of cats, then, so what message would you put out there to someone who wants to write a book, but they think maybe it's a bit too far, and and they're a bit apprehensive about writing?
And they're only a kitten. Only a kitten at the moment.
They might just be a little kitten, mightn't they? Enough. Do you know what I'd say? A book can be as long as you want it to be. You don't have to write some people I know just love reading short stories, and they are, they're not extensive. They're 10,000 words. They're very, very short. And if you've got an idea in your head and you feel like it's worth someone's read, then go for it. And I would say brainstorm away, keep a pen and paper by your bed, because I find that that's when the best ideas get into your head, when you're trying to get to sleep. And I think do your research. It can be long, but it doesn't have to be. I just think don't give up, and don't let people put you off as well. I mean, when I first told my husband I was writing a book, he was like, "Oh my God, you mean you're crazy? We haven't got time to have a cup of tea." And I thought, well, no, I need to do this. And it is hard work. And I would say I feel like writing the book is the easy part. It's the editing and the revisions and the just keep going over what you've written. And then I worked with an editor. She was based in America. She was amazing. And then I also used some beta readers as well, who just gave me some feedback on some of the plots and things. So I would just say, once you've written a book, even if you're still not confident or there's something you're not sure about, use people like editors, beta readers. They're really useful. They give you really good constructive feedback. There's loads of good ones out there. And, the great thing now is that they've all got reviews and things, so you can see, who people have enjoyed working with for certain styles of books. I just think, if writing a book is a dream of yours, you go for it. I'm just a big believer of, if any dream really, if you have a dream, go for it and don't let anything stop you. I definitely don't feel like it's too much hard work. It will take too much time. It can do, but if you enjoy it, if you're doing something that you enjoy, then that is just amazing. I mean, to me, I just absolutely loved it. I loved writing a book. I wish I could do it full time. I wish I could just sit in my, girl cave and just write books every day. That's my dream. So I'll just keep going, and I don't think anyone else should stop either. So
that's great advice. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one day you can do it full time, eh?
Oh,
you never know.
I hope so. Yeah.
I know. But Nina, it's been a delight chatting with you. Is there any more from you, Steve?
No, I think that's it from me. Yeah, it's been really, really entertaining and interesting. Yeah, it has. Yeah, great. Thank you.
I feel privileged that I've been the first cat you've ever interviewed. So
with a bit of humour to add to that romantic side as well.
Definitely. But let's keep in touch anyway, Nina. For now, thanks again. And
really, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for your time. It was lovely to meet you both. And keep in touch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks for now.
Bye.